No, yeah, something's happening here. She calls to me!
Aloha! So, before I start this review, I want to stress on the fact that I have never, ever played any of the previous Yakuza games. Not a single one. So in a way, I did not know what to expect from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I saw a few trailers of the game and I wasn't sure whether I will like it. It felt to me like I would play a simplified version of a GTA game. Nevertheless, I decided to give it a chance and here I am. 50 in-game hours later, I'm absolutely loving this game. It is simply a masterpiece. Let us find out why. So, where do we begin? Let's start with the first two chapters of the game that are quite slow. If you expect tons of action in the very first 5 or 6 hours, I'm sorry to bring the bad news, I'm sorry to disappoint, but the first two chapters of the game are mainly cutscenes with endless dialogues. The action simply isn't there, and when it happens, it is for a brief period of time and just feels incomplete. However, this is quite bearable as the game gets you acquainted with the main game mechanics, main characters, and to be honest, I never felt bored in the process. For instance, one of the very first missions is to get on a date with a hot girl. In the process, you have to decide what clothes to wear, how to talk to her, what jokes to say, and ultimately how to behave. And a small spoiler here, our guy Ichiban Kasuga is, to put it mildly, quite shy and not really good with women. And I had tons of fun, and I mean tons of fun, watching him trying not to look awkward in his desperate attempt to impress his date. So I guess the first two chapters of the game are the necessary evil, something that has to be done, and in our current case it was done with style, because I actually liked the intro. Indeed, it could have been way faster, but by no means it was horrible or anything that will push you away from the game and make you quit. At least this wasn't the case for me. And now, let us start with the actual game, which begins with Chapter 3. Now you are in Hawaii, searching for your mother, and you have the freedom to explore the world in front of you. And this is the first really positive impression I got from the game. The open world isn't enormous, but it matters. We all know that so many games try to create huge open worlds only for the sake of them existing for no real reason. This isn't the case for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Every single street, every single city square actually matters because you can find valuable items there, or you can find a side quest, or you can fight your enemies, or you can find a place of interest for some of your party members, for example. In other words, you have an actual incentive to explore Hawaii because you know that there is no place on the map that is useless. Everything matters, and I love that. In fact, my favorite activity in Hawaii was to go swimming at night, because I absolutely loved the scenery. It was beautiful and serene. And on top of that, I was getting a lot of trash from the ocean that I could exchange for valuable accessories for my team members in the party. So I guess it was a double win. And did I mention the side quests? They're absolutely awesome and hilarious. Some will give you great gears, some will unlock new skills, and some of them are plainly hilarious and designed just for fun. For instance, one of the side quests will force you to fight a crazy vacuum cleaner, and another one will turn you into a stunt double for a movie. Whatever it is, you will be entertained. Long story short, like the open world, the side quests do matter. My main criticism of the side stories is that on some of them the dialogues are way too long and can be easily cut in half without losing the entire essence of the quest. The general feeling though is very positive. I wanted to do the side quests, and every single time when I discovered a new one, I welcomed it with a smile on my face. And this is the main win of the game. It knows what it is, and it never fails at being super fun. It doesn't matter whether you're following the main story or a side quest, Infinite Wealth will never be boring. And I believe this is something that every game needs to achieve in order to be successful. Like for instance, let's take the fighting. It is extremely simple and at the same time super fun. Fighting in this game never gets boring. You can choose from multiple jobs, and each and every single one of them comes with specific set of unique skills that add unique flavor to each battle. The game tracks your level and warns you in advance if the enemies ahead of you are difficult, normal, or easy. The difficult ones can be beat, even though some of them can be extremely challenging. The easy ones you beat on super fast auto mode, called Smackdown, and the normal ones require a normal fight, and it is totally up to you if you want to manually fight, or whether you want to be in control, or you want the AI to take care of it. And when it comes to the essence of the battle itself, you get to choose if you want to use regular attacks or powerful special abilities. If you choose special abilities, then you need to decide if you require a powerful single target skill or an ability that damages everyone in a certain area. In addition, certain skills provide powerful buffs to your ally or debuffs to your enemies, so you always have an option what to do. Also, positioning matters, as well as your bonds with your party members. The higher the bond is, the more skills you unlock that are shared between your party members. Furthermore, during your fights, you can summon an extra character to aid you in battle. Those summoned characters can either damage your enemies or heal or buff your party, and you unlock them in side quests. And all I said so far is just the tip of the iceberg. The gear also greatly affects your performance in battle, and on top of that, you can use items and consumables to boost your team or to damage or debuff your enemies. Long story short, fighting in Infinite Wealth is super fun and it never gets boring. And this brings me to the main story. The best part of it is that it makes you care about the main character, and not only him but also the guys that are sharing his journey. If I have to be perfectly honest, the story wasn't really the best I've ever seen if you have to compare it with the likes of Baldur's Gate 3 for instance, but it definitely wasn't bad at the same time. The narrative follows our main guy Ichiban searching for his mother in Hawaii, and as you can guess, a lot of things go wrong in the process. There are a lot of twists, betrayals, and unexpected events that happen along the way, but the game never loses the spirit it had from Chapter 1. I said it once, I will say it again, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth knows what it is, and despite the fact that there are a few very serious moments in the plot, the general spirit of the game remains the same. It knows that it is designed to be a fun game and it keeps the course. It never disappoints. At the end of the day, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is a massive game. I have already 50 hours in the game and I'm barely at chapter 7, so I'm not even halfway there. And I cannot say that the reason for that is that the game's story isn't captivating. I already covered that. Quite the contrary, it is the fact that there is so much more that you can do apart from the main story that at certain points you don't even think about the main quest line. For instance, you can dive into the ocean, you can deliver food in a crazy minigame that can literally eat hours of your time, you can play darts, you can play old Sega games, you can participate in Underground 3 vs 3 tournament, you can upgrade your gear, change and develop your jobs, you can do tons of things in this game. And did I mention that there is a dating simulator? Yes, you heard me right. There is a dating simulator which name hilariously is Mismatched. And you can spend about an hour there without any issues whatsoever, I guarantee that. And even if you engage in 30% of what Like a Dragon has to offer, you will never get bored. And this is the main reason why I haven't finished the game yet. I am simply having tons of fun with the side activities and I don't really follow the main storyline no matter what. I'm taking my time, I'm having tons of fun. Finally, it feels that I can talk for about 20 minutes more, but I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. So I will give Infinite Wealth a solid 9 out of 10. If I have to list anything negative, it will be the fact that the dialogue sometimes are way too bloated and long, and the decision making in this game isn't that, let's call it that way, developed. It mainly just revolves around do it or don't do it options, with small exceptions on certain missions. Also, the main transportation system on the street, surfer kind of, doesn't work that well, because if you decide to get from point A to point B, you almost certainly will get into a fight which will seize the journey, unfortunately. Of course, you can always get a taxi, so this isn't really a huge deal. It is simply annoying. Generally though, those are tiny things. The overall grade that I'm giving this game is super high. For 50 hours I had tons of fun and I'm planning to play until at least 100 and more. And in the end, I must be honest and I must talk about the different price tiers of this game. A lot of people already covered it, but I will do it as well. You should not, and I mean you should not ever pay about game modes and dungeons. It is simply not supposed to happen. In other words, you should pay extra only for stuff like early access, skins, additional mounts, but not game modes, not dungeons. I really hope that what happened with Infinite Wealth will remain only an isolated incident and it won't be adopted by other companies, because It is simply gross. It is disgusting. It is not the fact that I feel terrible that I didn't purchase the Ultimate Edition of the game. To be honest, the game has enough to offer already, so you're going to have fun regardless, even if you buy the cheapest option. The problem is that this is a slippery slope, and a lot of other game producers can follow this bad example, and I really don't want this to happen. Anyways, enough talking guys, let's get back to Hawaii, and if you're not there already, then what are you waiting for?
For the love of all that is holy, please accept! Oh, yeah! Can't wait to finally meet